Okay. Should be.
How are you gonna read your comments?
Should be.
Flip it around and do what I did.
Yee. Let me do that then.
Juan and his technical difficulties.
The whole, gotta do it just the right way. Trying to get stuff set up.
I think this is half the fun of the video, is watching you
Just
set
trying
up.
to figure it out. Right. So now you're not in that, but does that work? Can you see? Cool. We good?
We did.
We got it. Okay. We are back. What is this, like third, fourth?
Third?
Something like that.
Yes, sir.
Cold night. So we'll take questions. We're also going to talk about a few things. Just winter time. It's cold. Single digits. Cold.
Yeah.
What else?
Cold.
Yeah, rigging, fishing, how to fish cold in the cold weather. Do you want to fish? All that kind of stuff like that. So that's what we're going to kind of go over tonight, I believe, is just talking winter, deep winter fly fishing. So you been out?
I've been ice fishing, to be honest.
What does that mean?
The hard water. Not picking ice out of your guides. Just kind of something different, you know. Still tying flies to do it.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. I've been out to the river a little bit. It's just crowded, you know. Just technical, picky winter tailwater fishing, you know. Definitely have some warm days sprouting up here and there. It's mergers and stuff kind of going on, but very far in between as we move into the end of January. Jeez.
Yeah, already.
So I'd say, I mean, keying in on small things, using small flies is my forte.
Yeah.
You,
I mean, that's where we are though.
that's where we're at.
And really, well, let me tell you, you know, first of the year, or actually before the first of the year, went to the San Juan, which is your old stomping grounds, fished that, and did not have to fish like your 22s, your 24s, your 26s, or 52s. Kind of just fished 20s and caught lots of fish. So that's just kind of where I hung out for 2 days there. So
I'm jealous.
yeah, and it was pretty good because it was not the South Platte and it was not Pueblo.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was actually a lot of fun.
See, difference, right?
It was different.
Something different, which is always great. We had one here. What is the
Longest leader
you use while nymphing?
I think if you go with a 9-foot leader for nymphing, that's pretty long for me because the one thing you don't want to do is get too long of a leader, and if you have 2 flies, 3 flies set up, and you hook a fish on your last third fly, you can't lift that fish out of the water high enough. So that's something that no, just a second.
I got that one. Keep on.
So you don't want to lift and max out your arm and your rod and your bend and not be able to lift the fish out of the water and be able to get the net underneath it. So that's probably something that you got to think about, and maybe you can think back that you had a situation where that happened, and that the reason is you're fishing too long of a leader. If you have the line, the fly line connection to the leader connection, the loop to loop handshake kind of connection, that goes inside the guides. Wintertime, if you get that to the tip top and you're iced up, you're maxed out, you're done. So wintertime, you really have to be kind of understanding where you're at, what you're dealing with, and conditions that you're dealing with. So but just imagine you're stripping in, reeling in a nice fish, a really good fish. Got a 9-foot leader plus your additional flies, and your tip top of your rod tip is bent over because it's bent, right? And then you run into your ice at the tip top of your rod tip. You can't go any further. You can't reel it any further, so you're stuck. So now you can't land that fish, so you're probably going to lose it. And that's just something you learn over time. It's just going to be really hard to understand, but just think it through. We got one more here.
Yeah, I got some notes on that one. I don't know where he's at. He's actually, I believe, fishing the Juan, and this time of year, I have thrown 12-foot leaders, especially some of those deeper holes, and to get down. And a lot of times, their ice isn't as big of an issue for us. You know what I mean? And using a different leader setup, like I use the Ninja, right? Once I get to the tip of that rod, I can just reel. That thing's gonna move down.
That's a difference, yeah.
So there's difference in there, but I mean, with what you're saying for this area, I agree. There's no really need. It just gets in the way at that point.
Even summertime.
Yeah, it's really, the water here is different, and we're not fishing rivers that have holes that I would say are 12 feet deep. You know, it's very far in between. And when we get to those, we make adjustments, add a little length, whatever, right? But it's adjustable. But it really comes down depending on your leader. You know, I know people that use 7.5.
I use a lot. That's what I use generally, it works great because it turns into like a 9-foot leader eventually.
Yeah, see, he says 13 foot from the indicator to the bottom fly. So that's customary, especially if you're in a boat out there. You know what I mean? It's nice to have it and be able to take that length away, in my opinion, than to set up with a 7.5-foot leader and go, oh, I'm in a 11-foot deep hole, and I'm trying to add tip it, but now my weights are, you just have to start messing with your leader too much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's good. We did have a question on yours. There's a gentleman that was fishing out of a boat. They were doing really well. They were catching fish on your Jedi. They were fishing with a downstream, I believe, from the boat. If he's still around, he can let me know if I'm wrong. I believe they were kind of fishing, leading them with their cast. And he hooked into a 20-inch bow, bent him straight. They happened to him quite a few times with fish, and they couldn't see what a common error was between all the fish.
On the fly.
Yeah, which...
So again, it goes back to a couple things that not being in that situation, or being in that situation in the past, and just kind of understanding what's going on. There's a couple things that could happen in your style of fly fishing, your personal style of fly fishing, that I think I see from clients a lot of times. People are just heavy-handed. You can bend out hooks if you're fishing, even 5X. You can put a little bit too much heat on those fish, and you're going to either break them off, or you might bend out hooks depending on what hooks you're using, right? So if you're tying yourself and you're, people always, I see this all over the internet, is that they're going to, they want to buy 100 packs, not 25 pack of hooks, and they're spending $10 for a 100 pack of hooks. Great deal, but it's going to pay off and hurt you in the long run with bending out. And so that might be an issue. That might be, some people like really fast rods. That's what they like to fish with, and that's their style. They're setting the hook way too hard and just, what I call the butt clinch. Yeah. Clinch those butt cheeks and, flex that bicep, and they're way up here and they're way back here, and they just put too much heat on there. And it's just too much to deal with. And if the fish stays hooked, you might bend those hooks out just a little too much and put a little bit too much heat on those fish. So, and those stiff rods do not bend nearly as much as, say, a softer rod. So
okay, he didn't have it bend out. The fish came off. He was using a standard dry fly barbed hook.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose a lot of fish depending on where you are. It's just part of the deal you learn to live with. You can, as you fish more, you can try different tricks to keep those fish hooked, but you're still going to lose a lot. A majority of your fish, I think, 40% probably.
He was fishing with a 10-foot 3-weight. It could be too soft for that too. He might need a little stronger of a little more back on that rod.
Could be, yeah.
You could be losing a little of that pressure somewhere in the fight, especially in a boat with the rocking and stuff. There's a lot of little things.
Yeah, I mean, if you're everybody says, guides say it, we say it, I say it, lift rod tip up, 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 up. Yeah. If you get that rod up and those fish come to the surface, if you see those fish out of the water anytime doing this, you're probably got a really high percentage of losing those fish. Yeah. Because you got to think, if those fish are subsurface and they're shaking their heads, they got the water going against them. But if they come out of the water, you increase that by 30-40% more, those hooks are just gonna go flying out. So that could be one thing that we're seeing.
Absolutely.
Let me see.
Shane was...
We got some.
Shane was complimenting that our flies work all over. You had a question about if you fish the pale ale in the winter, and we both
Oh yeah.
know year round.
It is not necessarily. I mean, I don't fish it year round. There are certain times where, especially during the winter, springtime, those fish are on those types of midges quite a bit more often than other times of the year. So yeah, it's definitely. I don't want to say seasonal, but it definitely shines certain time frames
Yeah,
more often than others. So yeah.
especially low
Yeah.
clear water.
Tip is soft for sure. So it came off deep after the head shakes. Yeah, I mean you're just going to lose fish. I mean it's just something you have to accept. You can definitely get better at it, but you're still fighting a wild fish that doesn't know you're going to take pictures and let them go.
Yeah.
And so, if they understood that would be a little easier, I think, to have better percentages and be able to have more pictures, that kind of stuff. So it's just something you gotta understand that I've gone fishing myself and hooked 11 fish and walked out of there with one in the net, where I've caught
That's true.
more fish and had 2 or 3 in the net, and it's percentage wise. I always like to say sometimes if you're sitting around 30% depending on the water, um, that's kind of average on par. So
Yeah, and then using the same setup too, right?
and there's days where if we go fishing, we both hook 10 fish. He lands 6 of them, and I land 2. You know, we both know what we're doing. It's just sometimes it comes down to just not, the fish wins
Yeah, or being
at
in
least
that
half of the
zone.
time.
You get in that zone, you have those days where you just
They won't
every
come.
fish that comes up and eats that dry is yours. There's those days. There's days where you miss every single fish on that trico.
I had a guide trip 2023, and she hooked probably minimum of 20 fish, 20 to 25 fish that day, and we got one in the net, and it was just became a day of laughing because there was nothing we can do, and so the only explanation I could say was like, hey, it's just you're driving through town one day and you hit every red light. You go faster, you hit a red light. You go slower, you hit a red light. It's just the way it is some days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's that. And you have those days where it's easy. You have those days where you just can't win. That's part of the deal.
You learn more in those days.
Yeah, yeah. You have to just understand what you're dealing with and try to learn from that. So yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I get down to the Juan probably once or twice a year. Probably be there in the spring sometime.
Yeah, it was. So it fished unbelievable.
Upper grades?
Lower. So Texas Hole, I don't know. I mean, I don't fish it that often, so I don't know. But above Texas Hole and below the upper flats. So the braids,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, not the main channel.
Oh, that's a good section.
Yeah.
I don't care what the fishing's like. It's fun water to work.
Yeah.
Different gullies, different channels, different structure that we're not seeing here. Still clear water, still big fish, but it's different. It's cool to see. I think what flies that I can bring from fishing there for so many years, and come up here, and then go from all the way, taking flies from here and going back there
Yeah.
and fishing.
Okay, I got a question here. Question is going to be very cold tomorrow. Middle Provo River. What do you think? I mean, I'm guessing very cold. It's cold everywhere from Canada down to my parents in northern New Mexico. So I'm going to say, you can still go. It's definitely harder on us. It's harder on the fish if you're catching a lot of fish. The water is always warmer than the air temperature when it gets this cold, and so you're dealing with a lot of steam. Sometimes you can't really see if you're throwing dries. You can't see your flies as well. The sun's very low. You can't, the angles are weird, all that kind of stuff. So, nymphing is fine. It's just what can you deal with, and is it worth going? I guess so. Yeah, I would. If it's single digits, it's not that fun. You got a lot of ice on your line itself, and you got your rod guides icing up as well too.
But
So.
what would you fish?
Well, it depends on where you're at and what they're doing. If you know, we always think nymphing, but I was able to throw dries a couple days ago, and that was super fun. My dry fly was icing up, so getting it to float very long was a little harder because everything kind of gets water and then it freezes and it wants to
Yeah.
sink. So if you can live with that, then you can catch a few on dries, and that's going to be worth it. So yeah, the shuffle. Heard the San Juan shuffle is going to be renamed the Decker's Jig.
I'm good with
Thoughts?
it. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I think you see it more at Deckers than you do at the San
Oh
Juan.
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I've posted videos on these guys shuffling on the at Deckers, and
That's the third time of years when you post those videos.
yeah, and it's these guys just
And
don't
it's
care.
not like you don't say anything,
No.
right? It's not like you don't say anything politely. Yeah, it's just it's clown games.
Okay.
Pretty fun.
Arkansas, is the Arkansas still fishing well this time of year, or too much ice? I'm assuming the upper Arkansas is what you're talking about. It hasn't been as cold
Yeah.
previously, and it had been fishing okay. So it depends on where you're at. You might have to just, you know, after this cold snap, you're going to have more shelf ice.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you might have to kind of wait for a little while. Just you might have missed it actually. So you might have to wait. But you can, you know, if you have open water, especially that Arkansas, if you're talking Texas Creek up to Leadville, Leadville is going to be cold, cold, cold. But Salida might be more open. It gets a lot more sun, so it might be
true.
worth it.
Even some of that stuff by Buena Vista,
Yeah, that gets sun.
it gets.
Yeah. Let me check the other stuff. Shane saying that if they tried that on his rivers, they get swept away. Well, let them try. I'd like to hear about it.
Pennsylvania, they get black stoneflies in the winter. That's pretty cool though. We get some dark betas and small blackish stoneflies,
There's a few.
but nothing like they see. Which
Yeah.
is that's kind of cool to have like a dominant, you know, bigger bug in the winter. We're picking through little micro entomology,
Yeah.
saying, oh, this one's slightly green, this one's brown,
Yeah.
this one's kind of black.
KY Jelly works good on preventing frozen guides. Yeah, Kyle.
That's why.
Tell us more.
That's why I've been ice fishing.
Do you still can you use a Euro rod for ice fishing?
Yeah, it's just the tip. Well, it's actually pretty fun, man. There's a lot of common stuff with like tight lining and
Yeah.
stuff, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it's different, right? And that's
It's
it's like,
a
it's
change
like
up.
going to the wand from here. You get a change, and it's just kind of a breath.
Yeah.
And then you get back onto the water with a new point of view, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of
Yeah, well, it's a refreshing because you can go to Pueblo so many times during the winter and just see the same people
Yeah.
there and same
Deckers,
same
Cheeseman.
spots and
Yeah.
just kind of like, okay, change it up, come on, go somewhere else or whatever else. So yeah, that's good. What do you change? Is there any change on your rig for the winter? Like longer leaders, shorter leaders?
I do tend
Anything?
to stick with more of a 10-foot leader. I like more of a play. And it hasn't changed much. I just lighter weight, you know. I
Yeah.
space my flies out a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah,
it's-
not a whole lot, right? I mean, we fish.
No, just lighter weight, smaller indicators,
Yeah.
lighter tippet sometimes, depending on the day. How many people are on the water, I guess, is more how I base my tippet diameter off of than, you know, what the fish are going to care about. So,
Yeah, July 1st, January 1st, you know, you can fish the same rig, same flies even.
yeah.
It just depends. But, you know, I could fish one rod on those 2 days and the same flies might be the same ones I'm fishing.
Yeah, that's true.
Different weight, but yeah.
It's just like instead of throwing the back two flies being small flies like I do in the spring or in the summer, it'll be like all three of them are smaller flies.
Yeah.
But
Now-
they're annelids.
Are you always gonna put an attractor on like a leech or a worm or something like that?
No,
And why not?
because there's days where they're pounding betas. I'll throw two betas to a midge. I'll
Yeah.
throw a betas to two midges. I've thrown. Yeah, I don't feel like you always have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people are conditioned to think so.
Yeah.
Leeches, you know, you hear the fishing reports and it's like lead with a black leech, a worm, or something like that, and so everybody does. So sometimes if you go the opposite direction, it helps
It does, yeah. You can go the opposite direction slowly based off of the number of cars in the parking lot, or you
Yeah.
can a confidence thing is what I feel like. Like if you've done good with a leech all year, why not throw a leech, right? It's not saying
Until
you
it,
won't
would-
catch fish on it. You will. but
Yeah.
it's probably not in the numbers you're used to.
well, I always say, is it helping or is it hurting?
Yeah.
Right?
If it's hurting, change it.
Yeah.
If it's helping, leave it.
Yeah.
It's
Simple.
pretty simple.
So yeah, if you tie on a scud or something like that, and if it catches a fish here and there, you're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But you can always play around and change a leech or something like that and see if that works better.
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
And sometimes it's just fun to fish new flies,
Mhm.
right? I find myself doing that when I'm catching fish. I'll change flies just
Yeah,
to
because you know it
see-
works.
to see what they eat.
Yeah.
It's a way of building confidence in other flies, so you're not stuck with having confidence in these 5 flies. Now I have a confidence in this because I changed to it in the middle of a blue-wing olive hatch, and they still eat a trico.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good note. Like,
So you said something trico. Something I hear and see, and there's a difference between tricos and blue wings in terms of what they look like and what's hatching. And you have those overlapping days when you have blue wings and you have tricos, but there's a lot of people that will say they fished a blue wing hatch in the middle of July.
yeah,
Is that true? You think?
I've seen it.
But it's more likely a trico in the morning.
More likely a trico.
In the morning. Yeah.
And based off of size. This one kind of is on that. He says he was struggling with the fish are eating emergers a couple inches under the surface. What is the best way to catch these fish? It's kind of like what you're saying, is you see that in the morning, right? You see, like, say it's a trico. Trico comes up.
Yeah.
You see him starting to sip, and then you start seeing just more of the back instead of the face. I use a lot of glass beaded flies. I've tied a few and posted them lately, where I'll run those, a good foot or two off of a small dry, using that glass bead just to break that surface and get down to right where you're talking. And that seems to be a good play for those. Recently, as we were getting in that transition from spring to winter, we were seeing a lot of that where we'd be fishing and these fish would come up, and I wasn't going to switch my whole rig. I've taken the weight off, chucked my indicator down, and thrown my nymph rig at those fish, judging the distance I needed to be so my flies get to where they need to be. Being good with that depth and that distance control, you're able to catch them on a nymph rig even if they are tailing. So, it's just depends on what you want to do. If you feel more confident in your dry fly game, throwing long casts with a dry fly, do that. Don't be afraid to put a little split shot to get a fly just below the surface. Don't underestimate your glass speeds or your 1.5 tungsten bleeds.
I don't think, as far as overestimating your tungsten beads, that a lot of people tie tungsten beads on everything, right?
Yeah.
And those are just sometimes a little too heavy,
Yeah.
right? If you're gonna, if you're throwing Cheetos at my feet, I don't want to bend down and pick them up and eat them. I want them to be like, open up, boom, put them in front of my face. So
Exactly.
make it easy for them, right?
Yeah, and make it easy for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to be like, I don't know anybody that fishes thinking this fly and this fly type thing is going to be exactly straight down.
Right.
It's never going to happen, right? So utilize that long length, that angle of it, that all helps. That helps you judge and keep it in certain lanes.
So yeah, if you see fish clearly eating emergers or drowned tricos or anything drowned or something, emerger or drowned in those cases, and you're going over them with flies and they're not eating, then you got to adjust your depth, because if they're not tipping down to eat, they're gonna
Phil got you. Sorry, Phil got your ass.
Phil knows me too
Oh,
well
look,
though.
look, even over here, teachers say Juan will pick it up if it's covered in green chili.
Yeah,
They
well,
got you, dude.
okay, fine. M&M's, Cheetos. Yeah.
I don't know, you get too old to bend over to pick them up. So it's just,
I got the good back though.
no, if there's any more questions, keep them coming, definitely. Like,
I want to talk to you and mention to you our classes that are upcoming with Angler's Covey.
oh, yeah, the first one's last Friday of this month, 2
Yeah.
weeks. We're going to be doing entomology classes. They're going to be a little different from your customary entomology class. We've actually collected photos throughout the year on guide trips and stuff from the local waters of these actual bugs. And so to go through and break down these bugs and show you what they are, show you their life cycles, show you what flies we would like to use to represent these things, as well as leader setups and how we're going to fish these different stages of these bugs. This month's going to be midges, so we're going to go through this life cycle of midges, and then we're going to go through the flies we think best represent these, how we would fish, and how we would build leaders for these.
He's got a couple flies that he likes.
I do.
He ties
a couple midges here.
A couple midges.
Just a couple. But not only will we talk about some of our patterns, but we'll walk through the shop, and point out flies in the cubbies that we personally like, especially ones by the other tires in this country, and it's really cool to kind of collaborate with Juan on this. This is going to be at Angler's Covey. We're doing 6 different classes. If you sign up for them, you do enter a raffle to win a box at the end of all the classes that me and Juan are going to put together. And so these classes are going to be pretty open.
Kind of like this,
Yeah.
but more focused on your questions. So it's kind of one-on-one, or
Yes, we're making plenty of time to ask for you guys to ask questions, us to answer them, for us to walk through building leaders and talking about fishing different bugs, just like we did with sinking a small midge behind a dry. So each month's going to be a little bit different. We're going to focus on specifics, and you can check on Angler's Covey's website. You can check on their Facebook. There's a list of the different classes and what the subject's going to be. But definitely take a look at it. It's going to be a whole new kind of setting. It's not, here's a picture of a mayfly and these are mayfly dries. This is going to be a little more hands-on, a little more how we go through the stages of guide trips, basically, from when we're about to get ready for the next day to when we get home and get ready for the following day. So these are all things that were important to us, things that we've drawn out of our phone from taking during endless guide trips over the last few years. So cool bug shots that you guys the people that sign up for the class will get access to these pictures to take home and utilize in their own tying or reference on the water.
Yeah, so it's basically this with more focus and in person. And so you ask the questions to us. We talk about the rigging, the flies, all of that stuff. And you just drawing from our experience over the years of guiding and just being out on the water, just to know what we're talking about, what we're trying to discuss, and break it down a little bit more and more in depth than just one-on-one, basically. So yeah, we're excited about that class. It's gonna be, I mean, I would be excited if it was just him. Being able to sit in that class, that'd be awesome.
It's going to be fun. These pictures that poking through and just kind of looking through some of the edits. We'll be posting some teaser pictures out there for these classes, but some of these pictures, man, will blow you away. Just these micro shots of these things. It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's coming up each month for the next 6 months. We're going to do a class, and so we're hoping to film up and hoping to provide these for as many people as possible here in Colorado Springs. We did talk about doing live stuff, but chose not to do that, so we're just going to do in person. That way, we're just focused on the people that are attending the actual classes. So it'd be, I mean, I'm excited about it. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a bunch more classes in the future, but there's going to be, I think, 10 spots per class. And if we do have more than that, we're going to do another class that's next Saturday after that class, just so that we can get enough people in, anybody that wants to. So if we can just recommend that you guys check these out. I saw some good questions on here. I know
Never Fly Tire.
He's the homie. We appreciate you guys.
Scott at Lid Rig.
Oh, Scotty.
Yeah, and Jake was saying some stuff about some flies and stuff. So yeah, Colorado fish are not worried that you moved away. They're probably happy.
So
Okay.
I post 3 flies a day. How do you come up with them so fast? I state at the. So a lot of the flies, honestly, guys, I've been doing this since I was 3. These are flies that I've pulled out of my boxes from many years ago and just said, oh, I'm going to retie this. This worked great for me. Let me see what new materials I can throw on it. So it's not like I just think of it every day. It's some of these are just recreated flies of my own, but that was kind of a big part of it growing up. I would ask Juan questions, certain guys I trusted in the industry, just to get information I needed by techniques and styles. But I never looked at a fly for inspiration to tie a fly. I looked at a bug. I looked at, things that I've drawn up, in a little book. So have all these little niches, it's not coming up with it every day. All right, Jacob, don't touch my Skittles. Just the purple ones.
Yeah, so designing flies or a fly tire that designs flies, you have to put your time in. Sometimes you come up with some great ideas and it works out on Instagram, but it doesn't work out on the river. And there's a lot of that. We go through a lot of that as far as what we're looking for. But if you have a concept of what you're designing and how you want it to work, then you got a good chance of it working. So, but sometimes we strike out, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you got a great fly that looks great, but then you fish it and it's just kind of like, catches a few fish. But, again, is it helping or is it hurting?
Yeah.
Or is there something, is there another player that you can put in there and it's going to play better? Yeah.
Also,
sometimes.
is there a time? Is there a place? Do I need to put this in a box for somewhere else?
Yeah.
Am I going to Pennsylvania? Should I stash this for some other situation?
Yeah.
But testing it too, right? It's not like, I don't think either of us just tie something and post it. I think we fish it, we share it with each other. I give you flies all year long. You give me new stuff all year long. It's not an individual thing, guys. We have a team of people. We have other guides we work with. We have a bunch of people that purchase flies from us that try them that aren't on the market.
Agreed.
It's a huge team effort, but to grow forward and and keep tweaking flies and coming up with new things, it is a process. But I mean, I was doing that way before Instagram came out, so I have quite a few saved up. That
This guy's fly brain, constant.
you guys can't see the desk, but there's definitely magnets of stuff everywhere.
I mean, it would be like his phone's charging, his brain's charging all 24/7. So, definitely has more thoughts and ideas about fly design. And as far as materials go on flies, I think if you just kind of have your core stuff that you tie flies with, you can get by. That's fine. But if you want to create or design or innovate, you got to have just materials and just just like if you're trying to cook and create something different, you put a lot of ingredients and mess around and you've had them before. You get something you had and you're like, this has this. I would have never thought that could have been put together and tasted so well, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're talking about in some of this stuff. So
yeah.
Let me see what we got here. Shane, catch fish on the Grinch, fly all the time. What are you guys talking about?
No, dude, he ties.
Bring that to
He ties some crazy shit.
Deckers at 50 CFS.
I can't wait to see Shane in less than a month.
Yeah,
It's gonna be good to spend time with him.
that's our buddy Shane,
Yeah, Shane
Ben.
Schuster.
Bend, Oregon. You probably follow him already, so
Yeah, he's a good dude.
if not, go check him out.
Dirty Rig Fly
Yeah,
Go.
Dirty Rig Fly Go.
Any other
So
questions?
the class, just real quick again, going back to that, just we got January 31st. So if you're in the Colorado Springs, Denver area like that, Pueblo, and you want to attend this, you would go to the website. You can call them. You can do a variety of things just to get on the list to sign up for this class. And then, like we're saying, we got a lot of things going on in terms of the class itself on what we can talk about. And rigging, presentation, just kind of going through a lot of things that we got questions about. We can talk about that and we can show you. And then what that does is it opens up your eyes and your brain to think about different things. And then it could lead to different classes. Like, we'd love to get a guide trip out of it and show you on the water how we approach some of these things.
That was the thing we talked about too, is if several people from the class want to get together and take a group trip, me and Juan will team up as two guides and pair up on the river with you guys and show you more of what we're talking about.
Yeah, so like let's say there's 10 people in the class or 6 people. If you wanted to, go in buddy system and say, hey, we want to book a trip with both you guys for 6 people or even 4, maybe let's say 4, we can do that. And we can take that next step and get you on the water to actually say, hey, here's how we're doing this. Here's how we want to drift. Here's the indicators and the flies and the setup and the exact rigging, the weight, everything. So it's kind of like, how far can we take this and how far can we push you guys to get out on the water and understand what we're thinking.
Absolutely.
So that's the best way to approach that, I think.
It's to give you the ability to know what you're looking for, and then giving you the same way to learn when and how to apply that, you know, and also to show you that there's several ways to do it, because there's not just one way. You're going to see things from Juan's perspective, you're going to see things from my perspective. There's a lot of common and there's a lot of differences in between the two, and so, you know, definitely, you know, think about this class. I know we're going to try to do some of these online maybe in the future. But we really want to see how this first round goes, because we put a lot of time and effort into the pictures and the stuff that went into this class. So we're really excited to see how it goes.
Yeah. So once we do that, we'll try to see if we can do something to a broader audience with Instagram or possibly YouTube, something like that. But we'll just have to see what the feedback is on this first class. If we can fill up the class, that'd be awesome. We get some information. And so the other thing too, if we do have 6 classes.
Yes.
If you sign up for all 6 classes, you're guaranteed a spot in the classes, but you also get a small discount, and you might have mentioned that as far as the drawing goes, get entered for a drawing for some flies. So
yeah, we do 2 dozen flies in a box. It's gonna be a good one.
yeah. Okay. Questions? Any other questions we got going on? Who's watching football? Anybody got the score? Because I can't really see. And then who do you think is going to go win the Super Bowl? We'll go back to fishing. Washington, Detroit. So.
Oh, Detroit! It's their year. Sorry.
I hope so.
Sorry.
I think so. But,
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Chiefs are going to be in it, but I don't know if they'll win it.
Yeah, we had our years. I'm good.
Broncos, right?
Washington.
What's the score?
Detroit's down.
24-21 Washington. Though. Okay.
Oh, good. At least somebody's watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. Got one eyeball over there and one on us. So.
Yeah. Any other questions? Any other things? Maybe situations you guys are finding on your waters you want us to address if you're not from here?
Yeah, Shane, you were asking something about 3-fly rig on your water. I think that's what I got out of it. Like,
he just throws grenades everywhere he goes. I don't know why he's asking. He's not gonna take.
You're gonna put it. Yeah, you're gonna put one of your crawdaddies in the lead and then drop something else.
He sent me some that have bigger beads on it. I'm gonna throw them down the ice and see what happens.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Getting out to fish private waters tomorrow. Yeah, dude, all the frozen ones, man. We're just gonna drill holes in the middle of the river and just send.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go out on the rivers right now. I mean, it's just too cold. I think
Jacob's nuts. I've seen this guy fall in 20 degrees and get up and fish the whole day. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, there's crazy people like that out there.
He'll go to Cheeseman tomorrow.
Northern Utah's behind last year's snowpack. Snowpack, yeah. So
for now, it's still early.
It's still early, and it's still probably low and behind. It can take 2, 3, 4 storms to get above average. So hopefully, we kind of get bailed out every year, but hopefully that's what it is again this year. I mean, I think the way things are trending, if we're 100%, we're still below maybe what we were 10, 15, 20 years ago in terms of snowpack. So we might want to be 110, 115, 120 to be a little bit above average, let's say, just because the world is weird now and snow melts a little faster and you get dust storms on the San Juans and it melts faster there and just all kinds of weird stuff. So
I like the one of the questions just passed said something about perdigons. Where is it? Why do you think perdigons are so productive when they don't resemble anything? They actually resemble a great question. Everything.
They do.
Right? They're small profile, big head. They have the tail of the Betis. They can easily be manipulated to change colors. They get down where they need to be when you use the proper weight, so they stay where they need to be. I'm a huge fan of perdigons.
Yeah, and going back to like the whole Cheeto issue term, if I'm sitting here and throwing you Cheetos, and then I sneak and throw a baby carrot towards you, are you going to eat that?
Probably.
Right? I mean, so I can fool you. It doesn't look like a Cheeto, but it resembles a Cheeto. And in your small brain, you might say, that's another Cheeto. And you eat it. And so then that's, it looks like a Cheeto.
Smells like a Cheeto.
Well, it doesn't smell like a Cheeto. But but enough to fool you,
Yeah.
right? So
I think that, yeah, it's slim profiles. I think it just matches a lot of the things we see anyway.
well, it gets down too, and that's part of the reason.
Yeah, it doesn't have to though if you throw a 1.5 either. So it's a very easily manipulated fly in my opinion, which makes like my number one reason it's my favorite. It's just easy to change, easy to make it look like something else just by changing two,
Yeah.
three materials.
You can go bead, tail, thread, body, resin.
You must really have a thing for Cheetos.
I mean, they sound good right now. I'd take a bag.
I got skills.
Okay, what do we got? I've got big fish with both of your flies, but I have to use big weight to get down. Well, you got big rivers.
He does, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised they can key in on that spot. Like,
Yeah.
we need to go fish with Shane
Yeah.
because that's
I mean, we're talking like 75 CFS. We're talking 155 at Deckers. That's
we're
big
talking
water,
if
man.
you don't look and you step, you go over your head.
Was
That's
planning on
awesome.
Cheeseman, but my friend's in Pueblo, so I guess I'll meet him down there. Cheeseman. So here's something.
Cheeseman doesn't have breakfast burritos.
That's true. I took a picture. They're having on the Pueblo Chieftain. They're having a burrito.
Competition? See, there you go. Go fish, go get a burrito. That's awesome.
Yeah, places I haven't been to yet.
See, that's rare.
So Cheeseman, that place does scare me in the winter
It
because
Steep.
it scares me in the summertime
Ice.
because you get in there in the summertime with not enough water, you're going to be in trouble. You get enough, or you get in there in the wintertime and you take a slip or a fall, and it's no good.
Well, that knucklehead was down there the last snowstorm, and he did well.
Yeah.
Jacob knows when to go. It's like I've always told. Oh no, it's not a good idea. Oh, you shouldn't go. Then he sends me a picture of a monster fish and nobody in the water. And you're
Yeah.
like, maybe I need to learn something from this guy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not playing. I fish your flies in the water way bigger than 600. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people are always saying, how can they see something so small? I'm like, well, if they wouldn't, we eat sunflower seeds and we're, in relation, we're pretty big to
Yeah,
sunflower
but you don't
seed.
look at a sunflower seed going, I'm going to get full.
But you eat enough of them, you will. Just like midges.
But that's never, it's not my objective eating sunflower seeds is to get full.
No.
So,
But
that's all I guess in there of the fish, right? Are they trying to eat to get full or are they just
eating well,
eating
it's
'cause
there.
it's something to do?
Until you run out.
What else
Well,
do
that's the
they
other
do?
thing. Like, if you eat sunflower seeds, you eat them until you get full or you run out,
You
right?
run out,
What happens?
right.
It's kind of like a hatch.
Yeah.
That's
Idaho
what happens during
waters,
hatch.
This good time of year. What are you catching in Idaho waters this time of year? Trout and salmon, right?
Oh, depending on where you are, I guess.
and then
But yeah.
like lake run browns.
Yeah.
I want to go check that out. That'd be cool to see.
Best what? Best burrito in Pueblo?
Ooh.
Ooh, I would say I got one. Nachos on Santa Fe and 4th Street there.
That is good. That
Bean
is
and
good.
chicharron burrito there.
That is good. The chicharron
good.
is what got me.
That's
It's hard to pass the taco stop.
it's easy and fast. It's kind of like
hard to pass
taco,
the taco
taco
stop.
stop. I say is like Panda Express. You know what you're getting. It's not the
Yeah.
best. It's not the worst.
Yeah.
It's
Like
it's
even
good.
McDonald's these days, I don't feel is like consistent. But like
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
I like me some Taco Bell.
Taco Bell is consistent. Like it's not the greatest food in the world, but it's
You know what you're
consistent.
getting.
You know what you're getting, and it's always satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like fishing in Denver.
Like
in,
Perdigons.
REI hole.
Yep.
You go there because you know what you're expecting,
Yes.
right? Sometimes you're surprised.
I think great food makes a shitty day of fishing great.
Yeah. I mean, well, you can have a great day and then go and eat, and you're just like done.
Yeah, it's the best day.
Yeah.
What fly fishing shows are you doing this winter?
Mm.
Denver. We'll be in the Denver show.
And
These
West
classes.
Denver,
Yeah, and we have these classes,
the Trout Unlimited.
so that's
Those
gonna
are
be
the.
good.
Not doing a lot of shows these days just because it's a lot of work. It actually is.
It's exhausting
It is.
to
A lot
give
of
it your
planning.
all every time anyway, or else
Yeah.
people are getting a piece of it. Like I like the Denver show because we're there, we can pick on each other, and
Yeah.
it's just full of all
That's
the guys
fun.
we don't get to see very often. You know,
But yeah, we get to see our friends that we made friends with over years and years and years.
Jeff
and-
Rowley and Tom Rosenbauer and Tim. What's Tim's last name? Kamisa?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm bad with last names, but yeah, it's cool to see all these guys show up and hang out, and they don't even type what we type. But it's cool to, hear what's
You
going
get a
on the
couple
other
flies
side
here
of
and
the
there.
world.
Yeah, you get a couple flies. You hear about stuff. You know, low snowpack and high snowpack and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of, you know, share your stories about the last year or so. That's pretty fun.
So spring water at the Denver show is so dry in that room.
Yeah,
We were drinking whiskey, so we didn't have time for water.
yeah, right.
That was a bonus. Anybody comes up with a bottle of whiskey during the Denver Flash Show gets an automatic free dozen flies.
Wait,
It
you
has,
said
it has
that.
to be. It has to be a good one though.
I don't
It
have
has,
a
to be,
dozen
it has to
flies.
be approved by both of us.
If
The
you
bottle.
bring me some, what is it, Weller 77, I think it is,
That'd be alright.
I'll give you a bunch of flies.
Just no Jose Cuervo.
Nah.
You owe me flies.
So, yeah, in terms of flies, like, what are you tying on tomorrow? If you were on the river,
Me?
if you were on just tailwater tomorrow,
It's a high of 10. So probably small shit. Honestly, I'd probably go with foamy homie or a wader midge as my last fly. I'm going size 20 Baetis as the middle fly, either a crave Baetis or a ghost case. And depending on where I'm fishing, I'm either throwing like a 16, like red annelid, or hare's ear, possibly, or like a really big Baetis. I've been doing a lot of like size 16, 200R Baetis.
and that'll surprise you, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
fishing those like a small stone in
'cause
my
they're not
rig.
seeing that.
No, yeah. So using that as an attractive fly, you know. Who are our favorite tires?
Man, there's so many now.
No, I'll say it. Juan. I've known you since I was how long? Shit.
We're
8
in
years old.
25 now, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're going on 30 years of
It's-
this. Yeah, he's been an inspiration of mine since I was a freaking child, man. Him,
You know, I mean, I think we talked about this last time. Some of the old school tires, Jack
Yeah.
Dennis, and
Davey McPhail.
yeah. I mean, you got to really kind of go back and watch and see what they did, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's like saying, what's your favorite basketball player? There's today's basketball players, and then there's the Jordans, and then there's the old school,
And they're all different animals.
and different eras. So
Yeah.
you got to appreciate what a lot of them did before the previous did,
Because they all build off of each
before
other,
what
right?
we're doing now. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
got access to a lot more information. And there's so many fly tires popping up right now.
Yeah,
Because it's
Escovedo is
easier.
One of those crazy
Yeah.
guys that just like
Yeah.
he's popping stuff out that just out of left
Yeah.
field. You know, Shane Schuster.
We are excited for the Anglos All game on Saturday. Yeah, doing that on Saturday. That's the MFC event. Anglos All on Saturday. I forgot. Yeah.
They
thanks
don't
for
invite me
remembering.
to those things. I hear you have to be like not a
You
pro
have to-
tire for them.
You have to be an MFC tire, dude.
I don't. I'll do.
Anyway, so I'll be there Saturday. That's Saturday, jeez.
I won't bring Cheetos then.
Yeah, bring Cheetos and yeah. So Saturday I'll be at Anglers All. I think it's like noon, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I believe. So I'll be there. Yeah.
It's a week from now, right?
Yeah. Jeez. So
making
yeah,
sure you know.
I gotta. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, I gotta start getting ready for that. So yeah. Thanks for reminding me. What was I going to say?
Griffiths and that. Oh, 20 inches behind us.
Hold on.
Black Midge.
Middle Provo, Utah. 9-foot leaders probably Griffith's net and 20 inches below. Drop midge, merge by one. Yeah. I mean, if you can get out and fish and not die,
Speaking of Camisa,
you're good. There he is, man.
there he is.
We'll see you in a month.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Tim's new book, check it out. That's
Yeah,
a-
I was gonna say that he's got a
that's
new book out.
Incredible book. I have to buy another copy. I got jacked by my son. Anything with pictures, right?
Yeah,
He
well,
gets
yeah.
us with the pictures too, because I was like, "Damn, look at his pictures."
Yeah,
It's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
yeah. What else you got?
What else we got coming up? We got the Denver show, right? What are we doing at Denver show? We're talking about doing some boxes.
Yes, plan is this guy cranks out flies left and right, but we might be having some boxes. Probably will have some boxes like he's selling now, of some flies that we're talking, kind of planning that out before this came live. So we're trying to get something together for that. So yeah,
So
we'll
I
probably
have some goodies at the desk for people to buy at this show.
save up your pennies.
Save them up.
We're not working a whole lot right now, especially in this cold weather. So we're looking for some additional income if you.
Yeah, your pole froze.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you planning? Like, are you tying for June right now? Are you tying for September, October? Are you thinking ahead that far, or
Between
what are you
orders,
doing?
yeah, I'm tying, looking into the end of February. Honestly, you know, we saw some good weather coming into March last year. I remember going up, not necessarily too high in elevation, still things around 7,000 feet. We're fishing really good for about 2 months before everything else kind of melted off.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to kind of getting, I don't know, more buggy, you know, going under the surface and digging up some entomology this year a little more deep, and kind of staying on track with the mayflies and the progression and actually following them up to elevation, because you know, checking things up into like Rocky Mountain National Park last year, you know, I was able to fish a hatch that started in the lower Ark Valley and go all the way up to Rocky Mountain National Park, hitting, I don't
A
know,
month and a half, 2 months.
yeah, within 2 months, hitting 15 different watersheds, and just
kinda-
following the bugs on
yeah,
the way. Yeah,
yeah,
it was incredible.
Yeah.
So to kind of track that again, you know, and take more pictures and keep tying and
That's
pushing
cool.
forward.
Yeah. So, like, where are you guiding at now? I know, your South Platte, your Pueblo, and all the South Platte sections, but where else?
I'm still going up by like Estes Park and stuff. Those little creeks got a good place in the heart, you know, hopper dropper stuff. A lot of little dry fly action. You get it early in the year too. It's pretty fun. A lot of little fish, but they're beautiful, natural fish.
A good change up.
Dang, I even went up to Glenwood Springs. You know, I was working with Rare Waters, and they've got properties all over the place. You
Yeah.
know, and I have not been to a nasty property.
Yeah.
Like each one of them is awesome, and they're not your like overstocked property where you're just picking out a bunch of little pickles that have one fin missing, looking like Dory
Yeah.
and Nemo. But like these properties were cool, you know, and each one was just had something different to offer, something special about it, right? And so that was cool too. And
Yeah.
so seeing some of these bigger rivers, I know the Frying Pan and the Roaring Fork were two that were newly added to my list of rivers this year, and they're definitely going to stay on that list. There's
Yeah.
some cool waters.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, if you get your Denver people, or a little further north in Colorado Springs, yeah,
yeah,
got some options with this guy. I'm South Platte. Both of us are basically from Dreamstream down, so even upper as far as that goes on the Middle Fork, Cheeseman, Deckers, and then 11 Mile Canyon, and what did I say? 11 Mile Canyon. Yeah, Cheeseman and Deckers, and then we got Pueblo as far as the Arkansas, and then the Upper Ark as well. So
Lot of
I do
water.
the Upper Ark, and that's March, even February, depending on what's going on. But March, April, I'll do some May, maybe, and then again September, October, into November on that river too. So yeah, we're hustling for some guide trips.
Yeah.
So if you want to get out and experience one of those areas, we'd love to take you out. So
And the group trips too.
group trips, yeah.
We love doing those 4-person trips where we get to make lunch and spend a full day with a group
Yep.
of you guys. We had quite a few this year. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Had some burgers. Get a recap at lunch. Go back out and do it again. And that was a pretty cool experience. So definitely let us know.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll probably sign off, huh? Get you back to football.
Any more questions, or we're gonna go watch football?
Yeah. What's that one say? What's
It's no chance.
Yeah, just hanging out, talking, chatting. So yeah, that kind of sums up what we're doing. Looking forward to getting past this cold part of the winter, and then we'll probably have another couple cold spells here and there, but we'll be able to get out. It's been fairly nice. Like some of the days been, if it's 30, 40 degrees, you're fine. I mean,
It was almost 60 yesterday.
yeah, yeah. And so, a lot of fishing to be done, and not a bad day as long as you know what you're doing, right? Stay dry, stay warm. Let's see what this says. If you have a whole day to fish for yourself in Colorado, where are you going? You see it quite a bit up in 11 Mile Canyon. So if I had a whole day to fish in Colorado, I mean, depends on where and when, but based out of Colorado Springs, I'll stay Pueblo, I'll stay Deckers, that kind of. But there's plenty of other areas, to fish. I'm trying to think of what I would do. Like, especially right now, it's a little harder because everything's cold, everything's kind of iced over. Did you see those pictures of the fork?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go there.
No. No.
No.
That size
That
is
wouldn't be
perfect
good.
for this time of year. Beta's 20, mid's 24.
Yeah, everything. I mean, year round, 22 is my standard, I think, for everything. And then you can branch out and go bigger, 1820s, and you can go smaller, 24s. But 22 is your core, I think, in Colorado for what we're doing for most of the time. You can get away with, you can catch fish on 22s anywhere, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, that's what I. So I don't know where I'd go fishing tomorrow. I mean, I wouldn't go fishing with the temperatures, but if I had to go somewhere, this guy might take me out on a lake. Maybe I'll try staring at a hole for a while.
I'd love to see that. I think you're gonna like it more than you debate.
So I don't know.
We'll
Can't
have a
answer that
tie-off.
one.
We'll do an ice fly tie-off.
How do you organize your? Yeah, that's a good question. How do you organize your boxes? Midges and beta sniffs, not your non-Euro flies. So I have boxes. A couple. I have a chest pack, and I have 4 small boxes, and I'll put all my core flies that I'm gonna fish with, and I carry that with me all the time. I have my bag, my other pack with all my other boxes that I can go back to and dig around and find stuff if I need, like a say sow bug or something that I'm not always tying on. Something just a little bit different. So I can go back to my pack and find those. But I have a core 4 boxes of all my midges and betas for the most part that I like and that I carry with me all the time. So I can use those right there. And then with access with other flies, back at the pack, which is always near me. So as far as boxes go, though, I have a variety of boxes with some of my Arkansas River stuff, which I might not fish on the South Platte. Some of my private water type stuff that I'm not going to always carry with me. PMDs, which I'm not going to carry right now. Tomorrow, if I went fishing, I wouldn't be carrying my PMD box or anything like that. So dry flies, so there's a bunch of different ways you can organize all that stuff. It just kind of comes down to your personal preference, I think. But just be smart. Like I said, Don't be carrying your PMD dry flies with you in January. It's pretty simple.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a hard question to answer because
Or your tricos,
if I take what you just said and I walk into your fly room and start looking through your boxes, they're not going to make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
They're set up. Everybody sets up their stuff based off of them. Like I know which size red box has what in it just by
Right.
reaching back and feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think you could organize it by river, but either way, it's going to get unorganized. So it's just kind of keeping your flies together. I think betas in a box, for I'd say everything from 20 to 16 in one box
Yeah.
is okay,
Yeah.
right?
Some people go with one box solves everything. Again, that works for you if it works. So what works for you? You got to figure that out on your own, kind of.
Yeah, it depends how much you can.
Okay, stealth tippet. Have you guys used SA stealth tippet? I use SA's as far as tippet materials, the standard nylon and the fluorocarbon, and I love it. So like that. You?
I like that Cortland stuff.
The Cortland, yeah, Cortland's
that
good.
top
The top
secret
secret's
stuff.
good stuff. Yeah.
I think I spent the nerdiest times kind of dwelling in the diameter sizes, and not just looking at, they tell you the micro sizes on it, and finding out that, S&A 6X and Cortland 6X and then Fulling Mill 6X, they're all different diameters.
Yeah.
Does that diameter matter? Right? I think so. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know some of that stuff's really stiff, some of that stuff's very soft.
Yeah.
And there's a time and place for both.
Yeah.
Right?
If you can, it's like hook sizes. An 18 in this hook is huge, and then 18 in this hook is smaller.
Yeah.
So if you can somewhere in the middle, you're okay. But yeah. So we still got questions, so we'll keep going if that's okay.
Yeah.
Favorite baited pattern on the arc and spring? I'm assuming maybe the upper arc. So here's what I would say. You pick one that you have, you carry, you like, fish it, and if it catches fish, awesome. Change it out, try different patterns, and see if there's something that the fish like. I always say the fish will tell you.
Yeah.
you may have your favorite until it gets kicked out by this other pattern that you like. So
Split case blue wing.
yeah, I mean, there's so many patterns out there. We like, you have your favorites, I have my favorites, and you have your
Case,
favorites.
Slim Shady, that blue wing, all of them with the gray foam, upper arc spring.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that shit. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen and it's gonna live there.
Yeah,
Especially the double beaded one.
yeah, that's fun.
I did like the way you did flip that into a Jiggy Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's underestimated. If you're fishing the arc, you should check out the Jiggy Jedi.
And if you tie yourself, go down to like size 20s and tie those with non hot spots.
Yep. They even were good in the, what was it, end of the summer under a hopper and a 16.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that in 11 Mile Canyon, you get down to some of that water and you could just throw dry hopper dropper type stuff. That's pretty awesome stuff. Favorite beta. So that's kind of the thing I would say is like
that's why we have
fish
so
a
many
bunch of them.
things.
Just fish a bunch and see what the fish tell you, and then again, maybe the next time out, try them again and see what the fish tell you.
That's why we tie so many different ones, right? It's like, I think to me it's one of my favorite patterns to tamper with, just because there's so many components, and you can take a picture. You can get 5 of the same betas, and they all look different once you take a picture. One's gold, one's light tan, one's camel, one's wood duck, and you're like, well, which one do I use?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's kind of the cool thing is we'll never hit that one fly that covers it all.
Yeah. And what we touched on a little bit, fish a Jedi and fish a Perdigon.
Yes.
Right. Ghost Betas and fish a something else, one of your
Pheasant
favorites,
tail.
and just see pheasant tail. See what's
Compare them, yeah.
How
I
it
do
works.
that all the time where I'll fish 3 betas on a rig and see which one they're eating the
switch
most.
them around. Is there a difference in what they're eating? So yeah.
Sizes. Yeah.
Different sizes, different weights, different levels in the water column. One's going to sit a little higher. They might be eating that, and they won't touch. It doesn't matter. They won't eat the other 2, but they'll eat the third. And if you switch those flies around, they'll still eat the third. Flip them around, change flies, they'll eat the third. Why? Is because they're holding at a certain depth, and those flies are right at their face. So
If they chase that fly in your rig, they want that fly.
yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. It's
So one day this is a while back on the Animus in Durango.
a tough river.
I got in a hole there. It's gone now. It's below Santa Rita Park,
Yeah.
right below the highway
where
bridge,
they did the construction.
right above the pedestrian bridge.
Yeah.
There was a nice slot there, and anyways, I hit that, and I was fishing a egg pattern and a red larva, and I got in a pot of fish, and I would run through, and they would eat the egg. I can't remember. It's been so long. All the rainbows. So I caught. I would make 20 casts, and then I would switch, and I'd switch it to something else, and only the browns ate whatever I put on, and then I switch it back, and then only the rainbows ate the egg or the red larva. I'd switch it back and run through like 20 drifts. It was amazing how whatever rig I had on, eggs and larva, was only rainbows, and I switch it and I put something different, and only the browns ate.
Browns are smart.
And that's just how that's just how
It's crazy.
you
how
figure out stuff.
It's patterns, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's based off of weather or flows, we don't know. But you hit it on, and then you start picking up on things that remind you of that day, and you start your brain puts it together almost naturally. You know.
And then you draw back from those times where you're just like, okay, let's try this because it worked in the past. So
Yeah.
cool.
Any more?
Yeah.
A good group of questions today.
Yeah, lots of good stuff, guys.
Lots of little picky stuff.
We
That's
really
good.
like that. So we'll do another episode here down the road and just kind of keep with these and talk about some stuff that answer these questions like you have been asking. So it's been awesome. We like this stuff. We really like sharing this information. But again, look at those classes and see what, if you can get to those classes, that'd be awesome because it's going to be a lot like this, just a lot more interactive though, and a lot more info, just puking out as much as we know and having lots of photos and
The photos are what I'm excited about. It's a lot of detail.
Yeah, it goes into fly design theory and rigging theory, and again, like we're saying, drawing on our experience of we've seen this happen in the past, and we've seen this happen on guide trips, and here's how you adjust it, and here's how you approach it. So, yeah, we're excited about that. Cool.
Awesome.
Good job. See you guys later.
We'll see you guys soon. did it on. We're getting better at it. Remember the first one we were like,